My native, huh? My native, Joddi remix, my native. I say I ride for my motherfucking natives. So frankly, I'ma die for my motherfucking natives. My skin's out here every day, my native. Steady rapping, never clean, never try. My native, 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 my motherfucking native. My native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native. First thing first, I love all my natives. All around the world, I love all my natives. My daddy hand beat it by one of my natives. Fly in the feathers on the back of my natives. Some natives smoke, smoke, some natives drink, drink. I don't really give a fuck what none of y'all think. Some natives for the streets, some natives for the bread. Fuck John Wayne and motherfuck the face. I'm down for the natives that are really down for me. Oklahoma Seminole, Oklahoma Creek. He been my native ever since the first grade. We both figured out how to hustle, get paid. Drank my first bottle and I smoked my first J. Fuck my first bitch, I don't remember her name. Fuck with my natives cause I'm down for my natives. I ride for my natives, yeah, I die for my natives. I say I ride for my motherfucking natives. So frankly, I'ma die for my motherfucking natives. My skin's out here every day, my natives. Steady rapping, never clean, never try. My native, 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 my motherfucking native. My native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native. Every native coast to coast, every native sea to sea. Every nation, every clan, every tribe, every beat, every res, every state, every block, every street. Every native here listen, every native hearing me. Me and my down ass natives getting twisted. I know it's cliche, fried bread but no biscuits. Just know I fuck with you every day, my native. So when I see you holler, yeah, yeah, my native. Hitting powwows with my native. This is for the ones in the cage, my natives. Ain't the Freelander, Peltier, my natives. Standing rise above all the fear, my natives, my natives. I say I ride for my motherfucking natives. So frankly, I'ma die for my motherfucking natives. My skin's out here every day, my natives. Steady rapping, never clean, never try. My native, 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 my motherfucking native. My native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native.
What's up, everybody? This is D-Rock with Unknown HipHop Culture, sitting here with Sten Joddi. It's in town for a show, huh?
Yeah, man. Just chilling, bro. Feeling good, being home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When'd you get here? Earlier in the week?
We got here last Wednesday. Thursday.
Been here about a week and a half, didn't you?
Yeah. Because we had the tattoo convention over at the casino, and then I had meet and greet out at the Zoyaha Fest at the stickball game.
Oh, okay.
And then that tattoo convention was 3 days in a row, so I was grinding with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How long have you been doing music?
Oh man, about as long as I've been doing tattoos.
Man.
About 13, 14 years old.
They kind of go hand in hand, or?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like they're both the same for me. They kept me out of trouble, kept money in my pocket, and they both at the same time saved my life from, being too much of a shit ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How many actual albums do you have out?
Well, I mean, if you don't count all the albums that I had before I actually became, as everybody knows, Sten Joddi.
Yeah.
I have 7 studio albums out right now that I put out all by myself, independently. There was no label, there was no backing, and I've been doing it since on my own like that professionally since about 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Before that, it was in the days of burning CDs and mixtapes and rapping over other people's beats and
just getting it how you can.
Yeah, man. And I was doing that for years before I even started to actually put together albums that were, you know, digitally out there and
Yeah.
on platforms and stuff. So yeah, man.
Did you ever think it'd get to where it is today?
I mean, that's always the goal.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
did you?
it's always the dream in the back of your head that, you know, you'll
Yeah.
fantasize about one day, you know, rapping to a whole audience of people that know your songs, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or just being in certain spaces and being able to tell your story legitimately,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you have any one specific song or like a list of songs that kind of mean the most to you?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of songs that mean a lot to me. They're kind of sprinkled out throughout those albums, you know. Of course, my mama's song is a big one for me personally. Res Dreams and
Yeah.
In This World was one that really, you know, I showcased my family in the music video and stuff, and it was just us kicking it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my wife and all that, and so it's just like those mean more to me than a lot of the other ones, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Just something personal to you.
Yeah, and you know that's why I try to stay authentic to myself. I don't try to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah.
Or do things I wouldn't do in my regular day.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm not trying to, you know, portray any type of way than who I am. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, and that's a father first, a husband, and you know, a homie and all that. Then comes tattoos. Then comes music.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just my priority, you know, list.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. You know, I try to. Well, as you can see, you know,
Right.
I bring my family wherever I go, and you know, sometimes it don't work out, and sometimes
True
it
story,
does.
man. Hey, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and that's the, I believe that's the journey that a lot of us are afraid of having.
Yeah.
You know, because the regular society tells you to leave your wife and kids at home and go to work.
Yeah.
And I think as Native people, that's hard for us to do, to live in them two different worlds where they tell you this is the way you should do it.
Yeah.
And then what you have in your heart and you feel that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of struggling on that. You're like, well, you know, I need to go to work, and you feel almost guilty leaving your wife at home, your kids at home, and that's supposed to be that way because they're supposed to be with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what I do too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think our people need to know that can happen, and we can all be a family doing things together, and and still be professional. And still be you know, breadwinners of the families if that's what we're doing, you know, or vice versa. Even if you had your wife's back and you had to go and travel and do things, you know what I mean? It's just better to have that family with you, and that's why I always travel. Even if I'm flying to somewhere singular, I'm either like bringing one of my kids, even just if it's just one, just so, you know, they can experience it with me. Like, what's the point of experiencing all these things and this journey to wherever you're going if you can't enjoy it with another, you know, somebody that's important to you? You know what I mean?
Because I done a buddy's podcast like maybe I want to say like 2 months ago, and we were talking and stuff, and I told him before my dad passed, I always used to tell my dad one of these days, you know, I want to be able to bring something positive to different reservations and stuff, and he stopped me right there. He's like, well, he said, I used to live in South Dakota. He said, I know a lot of people. He said, October, he said, you're coming with me. I said, where? He said, Black Hills Powwow. I said, I've always wanted to go different reservations and see stuff. He's like, he said, only thing you have to do is pay for the gas to get there. He said, my people, he said, I'll talk to them. My people's got you in there, you know, hotel and eat and all that stuff. You know, I told him, man, it's, I don't know, just kind of get goosebumps whenever I start thinking about stuff, you know, because he's helping me fulfill one of my dreams to go to different reservations and see how different tribes and stuff, you know, do everything.
Right, man, and that's what I'm grateful for, you know, shout out Sterling Harjo, Res Dogs, the whole team, crew, writers, directors, actors, all of them, extras, everybody, because that's what he was able to help me fulfill those 13-year-old dreams, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, it might have took me 25 years of just continuously pushing with nobody really paying attention. Like, there was people the one day, though, you know, the day one fans out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the majority of mainstream, even just Native communities, like the majority of Native didn't know who I was, and they probably didn't know who all of us were on that show. You know,
Yeah.
until we came out on that, and it's like I'm just grateful and thankful that that's what I get to do is travel around, meet these people, meet our people, you know, and meet different people that all are so similar that it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we were so disconnected from all of each other even before colonization. You know, we were separate tribes, and we spoke different languages, different ceremonies, different ways, you know,
a whole different type of
just
cultures
all
and
different
everything.
cultures. And but when you go there and you start to meet these kids, you start to meet these elders, you start to meet the people and the adults, the parents and the aunties and uncles, and it's crazy how similar we are without even knowing each other.
Yeah.
From that far, like, you know, I mean, you see, I hate to say it, but like, you know, you see these kids, man, and they all kind of do different things, but they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful within itself, man, and it's like I get to experience that and let them know that I'm from somewhere different.
Yeah.
And what you're going through, you know, maybe you can relate to what I went through, and then come to find out, you know, I felt like I was alone. And then I go around all these places and realize like all these people relate to the words that I have to say. You know, I grew up in Glenpool, you know what I mean, and here in Tulsa and Sapulpa, Old Mogi, and like running around all these areas and not knowing as a child that this is the res.
Yeah.
And come to find out like later down the road, like these are all res communities. This is the whole res, like, you know what I mean? And just not coming up in that culture, but knowing other people know how I feel about that. You know, there's kids out there that grew up on the res that don't go to any ceremonies, that don't go to these things, you know. And there's kids out there that do. There's families that raise their kids right in it, and then there's families that are disconnected but are right there in the community, just like my family was. Yeah. You know, and to now be able to see ourselves in a positive light and start to bring back that youth, that get back to those ways, get back to those ceremonies, and start connecting and start being a part of those community functions and events, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm grateful for all of those opportunities to be able to do that, you know, and just to be able to hopefully maybe just tell that one kid that I was, you know, that you know, oh man, look, he did it. Shit, I can do that. Yeah. You know, and that's all it takes, man. Because, you know, I'm 40, so I know anybody older than me growing up didn't see themselves on TV, didn't see any sports stars on TV, not as much as you wish you would have, and as well as like the tropes of Native people on TV at the time. So you only had so many things to cling to and be like, oh yeah, man, that's a Native guy up there, you know, even though he's in feathers and all kinds of shit. You know, it is what it is, and it gave us pride. I can't imagine how these young kids feel now, you know what I mean, to see cartoons like Spirit Rangers. And to see Molly from Denali and these indigenous shows that educate our kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know, it just maybe 5-10 years ago that was rare. Yeah, that was real rare.
Yeah, you're not gonna see not even the show. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like there was no shows. I tell people this all the time, and it blows their mind. But it's like, what mainstream primetime sitcom TV that had Native Americans as the main focus? Have you ever seen that? No. And then everybody's like, no. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And then it really starts. And these are non-indigenous people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm trying to bridge that gap as well. Yeah. Because I want people to know that we're not this scary thing that is like you can't be a part of and that you don't know. Yeah. We might be joking that you don't know, and that's the joke. Yeah. But we're not trying to exclude you from having a good time and coming into our stories and trying to, you know, find that relatable situation where, you know, it just because you're a Native kid and I played a bad dad on TV, it doesn't mean that, you know, a black kid from Tulsa or California doesn't going through the same thing as Barry was going through, or a white kid from the trailer park is going through, or a Mexican kid is going through. You know,
it don't have anything to do with
it's so
race.
diverse. You know what I mean? That these are real stories of human beings.
Yeah.
And I think that is what needs to be most important, is that these are just real stories of human beings. It's fresh, it's new, because you guys don't know about it yet.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it is for Native people to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's showing you guys that we have our stories to be told too, man.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's happening. You know?
I'm real glad that you know, Sterling Harjo came up with the reservation dogs, especially this last episode, you know, teaching, you know, just teaching about the history and stuff.
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
like touching base on all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm waiting to watch it because I know how seriously important I need to be in my mental to even get through it.
So you haven't watched it yet?
I haven't seen.
Okay.
I'm because I've been out here doing this stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like I want to wait till I get home.
Get home and get
and
settled.
relax,
Yeah.
and then me and my wife and kids will sit down and watch it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And because it is such an important episode, and they've been talking about it, and I see the clips, and I'm trying not to watch the clips. You know, so yeah, man, it's definitely important. So I'm gonna take my time on you know, definitely watching that.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm like you were saying, you know, I went through childhood and teenage years and stuff, knowing about kind of the culture and stuff, but now I don't know, just all of a sudden, you know, I just started thinking, you know, I want to start learning about the history behind, you know, not only I'm Cherokee, so not only my tribe, you know, I try to go through other indigenous tribes and stuff to learn everything, you know.
Right, and I mean, I've been learning a lot about all these things in the last maybe, I would say like 17 years. I've been just teaching myself, and especially about the, you know, boarding schools.
Yeah.
And the assault that our people went through.
Yeah.
You know, those kids and even the parents having to deal with their kids being taken.
Yeah.
And people wonder why some of us resort to substance abuses.
Yeah.
We resort to violence, you know, among ourselves, and it's because we're still hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of those things are just one generation away. It's not. It wasn't hundreds of years ago, you know. For some of us, it was our dads, it was our moms, it was our aunties, it was our uncles.
Yeah.
And then it was our grandmas and grandpas, and then maybe some of these young kids, it's their great grandma and grandpas. But you know, I want people to understand that this was common practice with the government and the church to do that to us, to wipe away that culture. So I can't put at fault that I was never really raised in it.
Yeah.
Because that was their plan, you know?
Yeah.
And I want other natives out there to know that if you weren't raised in it, that, you know what I mean, that that was the reason probably too.
Yeah.
And that is okay to still try to find that education and that, you know, that feeling that something's drawing you to it.
Yeah.
You know, definitely act on it, because that's what I had at one point, is like, I just want to know everything. I just want to know. I want to ask as many questions as I can ask, and I want to listen as much as I can listen.
Yeah.
And when you take away all that ego and you're not speaking all the time, and you shut up and listen to some of these elders' stories, man, it's inspiring. It gets emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, man, it's crazy that we've came so far, and that these people are just now finding out about all these things that our people have gone through. And I hope the show, that's just a little, I've only heard about what it is, and it's like, I've even seen a few comments, and they're like, it's only rated R. right?
Yeah.
So you're not seeing what
You're not
what
seeing
what
the
really
real,
the real bad things, the real grotesque and unbelievable things. And I can't imagine, man. I just can't imagine. And for us to be here, I put all the thanks to those kids that got through all that and survived that, for us to even be here today, because them are our parents, our grandparents. Them are the ones that didn't give up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in the worst times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, definitely shout out Sterling Harjo and the whole season 3 in this episode, bro, because I guarantee you it's stirring up a lot of emotions for a lot of different people, and it's waking people up, bro. It's waking people up that don't know, and even our own people that didn't realize, you know what I mean, what went on. So shout out, man, and I can't wait to sit down with my family and watch it when I get home.
It's a real powerful episode, and what's crazy is I went to Tahlequah Sequoia, the Indian school, and I can almost guarantee if I went to like a bigger city and stuff, it's crazy how small of a section, even in the history books, the Native American culture is.
Yeah.
I'm thankful I went there, and we had our actual indigenous teacher and stuff that actually knew the history and stuff. Because we had regular history, then we could take the other Native American history and stuff.
Right.
We could. There was a bigger part of history that we could explore rather than just the U.S. history was like I think I actually remember like 4 pages out of the whole like 300 and some odd pages of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what happened. I know now in Glenpool they have like a whole Native American educational programs going on with the language and everything there. But when I was a kid, it really wasn't there. Or not that I can remember, and if it was available, I must have not been told too much about it, or maybe I felt like I didn't care enough or something. It might have been my fault too. You know what I mean? Like not pursuing it as a kid. You know what I mean? But definitely, man, that the real history needs to be put into regular public schools, and not just for Native kids though.
Yeah.
But for all kids. Because they have this ignorance that they don't really understand. And it's not ignorance as I'm trying to insult someone. I'm just talking about you don't know, just like I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was ignorant at one time on my culture. So if I can admit that at one time I was ignorant and did not know what my culture meant or who I was as a human, then I think the other people can sit back and admit that I'm ignorant about y'all. I don't know exactly everything. I don't understand why not all y'all wear feathers and braids, or do you guys still live on the res, or is there, all these questions.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what I mean? Just come with a good heart when you're asking, and I'm sure there's people that are out there and answer it. You know what I mean? And again, I want people to understand that we're not this big scary, big mad Indian that wants everybody to fuck off or something.
I hates everybody, and
it's like nah, man. We love people. We love our people, and we're definitely welcome. And I have to remind people, even like powwows, like, oh, can I come to a powwow? Of course, that's what it's for, man. We're out there, we're hustling. We're selling our art. There's beads and there's things out there that are independent, indigenous, entrepreneurs out there trying to grind. Of course, we want you to come out there and spend your money. So it's like, come on out and check it out, because then some of those questions can be answered if you just show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just show up, then you'll know. You know what I mean? You won't be kicked out because you're white or because you're some, it's got nothing to do with that. That was the point of powwow, is to come on and check us out, man. See what we do, you know what I mean? And show respect, and respect will be shown. You know what I mean? So definitely, man.
Yeah. As far as music, who's kind of the major influences music wise?
I mean, I have to start with like my mom. Period. Like she always kept music going on in the house, whether it be, of course we're in Oklahoma, so country and like
Yeah.
southern rock, but she loved '80s pop music and stuff like that, and like Michael Jackson and Cyndi Lauper and all those things were
Yeah.
always in
So you
getting
had
played.
variety
A
of
variety of
yeah.
things, man, and but when hip hop came around, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and kind of heard a kid next door playing like Too Short and some R&B stuff. My auntie, my uncle, they had R&B and rap playing when I'd go down to see that side of the family. So those were definitely influences as well that I really didn't understand at first.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I like that,
Yeah.
And then when you get a little older, you realize what the stories are about, And then later, Tupac was definitely a huge influence on me, just from even back when Brenda's Got a Baby album and stuff like that, because it was like, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can relate to those things, and I think a lot of indigenous people can relate to that whole song.
Yeah.
Because I know some of the things are taboo to talk about, but we have that internal trauma, that internal violence and lateral violence that we put among ourselves, and nobody wants to talk about the bad things that even our own people do to each other, whereas our uncles or somebody touched us when we was kids, or any of those things, and them are hard things to talk about. But if we don't talk about them and we ain't straight up with them, those are the things that stop us from growing and being better people, and also getting over those traumas and facing them and dealing with them. And so when Tupac and those stories start coming out like that, that's when I was like, man, this is my life.
Yeah.
I felt like, I was dealing with an alcoholic father. I was dealing with domestic violence in my home. My sister was dealing with things in her own situations. And it's like, we grew up in that. So hip hop was like the only relatable thing that I could find. Country music really didn't tell that story.
Yeah.
Rock and roll wasn't really telling my story. Classical music wasn't telling my story. And it's like hip hop, I could hear myself rapping these words as in first person,
Yeah.
and not listening to it as, oh, that's that guy's story. I felt like I was saying it was me, So now that I'm older, now that I am a rapper, now
Yeah.
that I can tell my stories, I love going around to these communities and seeing them same looks on kids' faces that I had just watching MTV or BET,
Yeah.
and watching these music videos, and I see that in these kids' eyes, that, yo, I know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's telling my story, like, bro, I know it. Thank you, man, for saying what you're saying on that one song. And hey, man, this one song helped me get through a hard time. Yo, you don't know how many inboxes I get all the time from kids from everywhere, adults, moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, and just telling me, thank you for just saying the things you say. And I don't post all of those things.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to get that. That is just for me and them to know, you know what I mean? But I get it all the time, you know what I mean? And that's what keeps me going to doing what I do. Of course I get all kinds of little haters everywhere,
Yeah.
Mad at me because I'm a rapper or whatever, man. But at the end of the day, bro, it's like that's what saved my life from being in prison, being strung out on drugs, or being an alcoholic and killing myself daily.
Yeah.
Even my health has gotten better over the last 5-6 years, and that's due to me getting more connected to the culture and knowing what I'm putting in my body, being more conscious of what I'm eating,
Yeah.
more conscious of what I'm listening to, more conscious of what I'm watching. Like all these things, or you're feeding these different spirits, and
Yeah.
when you're feeding the wrong spirits, they like to stick around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, alcoholism to obesity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're feeding those spirits, those alcoholic and obesity spirits, those are gonna hang around you too. You know what I mean? And I say it doesn't stop with just stop hanging out with the bad crowd.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Yep.
You know, and then
Yeah.
it just continues. You know, to do better and continue to be better and to continue to want to be there for your kids, want to be there for your family, be a granddad and be a grandma and stick around because
Yeah.
statistically shown we don't grow to being very old before we have our heart attacks and our diabetes and our cancers and stuff. It hits us a lot quicker,
Yeah.
you know, because we're just trying to get out of that unhealthy living.
Yep.
That was survival food at one time,
Yeah.
you know, and I hate to say it, I mean, we turned it into some scrumptious stuff,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's no different than the soul food in the black community. It's like, it's great, it's good,
Yeah.
you can have it, you can still eat it, just can't do that shit every day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned your health. I remember I've been following you for a little bit, and I remember you posting your first picture whenever you was in the gym.
Yeah.
Whenever you're standing sideways, and you know, then like a year later, you posted updated like how you know your health and everything. You know, I'm trying to get on that journey, you know, where I can, you know, be able to do that and stuff. But I remember the very first time you posted the picture, you know,
Yeah, man,
doing.
it's I try to tell people there's no secret, you know what I mean? There's no special diet, and there's no, you know, it's
Yeah.
literally a lifestyle change. All the way around. You cannot how do you say it? You got to make your life around your health and not
Yeah.
your health around your life.
Okay. Yeah.
So like you're making compromises just so you can be healthy. No, you need to make compromises on the other end
Oh yeah.
while you're staying healthy.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it makes sense that
Yeah.
way. So it's like, well, man, I got to go to work and I got kids. I get all that. You have to seriously just take a stand and say, I don't care. This is the days and the times that I don't want nobody to call me. Don't come around. I'm going in way early before work, or I'm going way late after work, whichever one you choose to do. But it has to be stamped that this is what I'm doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I ain't stopping, you know. And you can't compromise with yourself. You can't compromise with the old lady, your kids. You can't compromise with work. You're gonna have to set that time, and I'm going to do it every day. Don't mess with me. I'm in the gym. Hey man, why don't you ever answer your phone? I'm in the gym. Leave me alone, and I'll hit you back when I get out of the gym. You know, I only go in an hour a day. At first, it was like almost 2 hours because I was just like super going at it.
Just trying to get in there, you know.
And it was a lot of cardio.
Yeah.
Everything was cardio. I didn't worry about weightlifting. I didn't worry about big weights. I didn't worry about trying to do the curls or the benches. I was just strictly cardio. Go in there and run on the elliptical for 2 miles. Go in there and do cardiovascular workouts that have weights, you know.
Yeah.
But you're lightweight with lots of repetitions, you know. So I just really wanted to get really back my heart good and my lungs good and, you know, my agility good enough to, because, man, I mean, I found myself getting in the studio trying to record, running out of breath. I mean, getting on stage and trying to give the crowd 100% of the money they paid for, and I can't get through half of my set without, you know, about to fucking fall over. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, God, damn, this boy needs some water. Give me some water and a fan. You know, like, so that's where I was trying to get. And then just seeing my kids, you know, that was the most inspiration is thinking about my youngest daughter, which is here with me now. And thinking about her, like, graduation, her marriage, her child.
Yeah.
I might be here for my oldest daughter's stuff. Am I going to be able to walk my youngest daughter down the aisle, or are they going to be pushing me in a wheelchair because I got diabetes and half my legs cut off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, them are serious fucking issues, man.
Yeah.
Them are serious questions indigenous men and women need to ask themselves. And that's looking in the mirror. It has nothing to do with me putting y'all out there in the street and your unhealthy living. I'm not trying to do that. You keep living how you want.
Yeah.
That's got nothing to do with me. But when you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the fucking truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna tell you, yeah, man, you can still eat double cheeseburgers. I mean, you can maybe once a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can indulge in a double bacon cheeseburger once a month, some fries and a soda. But you can't have that shit every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, in the McDonald's drive-thru, in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. In the, you know, you can't do that and expect the results.
Yeah.
You know, I went way down and then I've came back up a little bit, but it's a healthy weight now. You know what I mean? I'm back up to like 230. You know what I mean? 225, 230, and it feels good. You know, it feels good to be able to get out and want to move around with my kids, you know, go to the gym and play some hoops with the kids and run around. Before I didn't want to do that. I said, go outside and play while I sit on the porch and drink a beer, you know, and I got caught up in that, and I'm just, again, I'm thankful that something clicked in my brain that, and this was before, you know, the Res Dogs thing. This was before any of those things. It was just it just clicked one day. I don't really have an answer for that. Like, what made you want to do it, other than like my kids and just, you know, there was no doctor appointment that said, hey man, you seriously need to get healthy. Yeah. Which some of us need that to wake us up. You know, maybe. But, you know, I just felt one day like, I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of feeling lethargic and not wanting to move around. Like, blah. You know?
No energy whatsoever.
You know, no real energy. Yeah. You might get a burst of it in the morning before you eat breakfast or right after you eat breakfast, but then it just sinks back in, you know, because of whatever you eat. Yeah. It's whatever you put in your body. So McDonald's, you know, biscuit and sausage and cheese and all that, you know what I mean? All that pork, you know what I mean? I got away from pork. I got away from a lot of beef. I'm eating a lot of like red meats that are, you know, game meats, so like bison and venison and, you know, turkey and duck and chicken, a lot of chicken. I like fish, a lot of fish and seafood I eat. Yeah. So it's like I still eat. You know what I mean? I just eat a lot of the good stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anybody out there, man, just do it. Just do it, you know? Just be healthy and just do it. It's okay if you mess up. You know what I mean? Here and there, it's all right. Because it's not about trying to fit in that dress or that tuxedo again or that whatever, you know what I mean? Or trying to get to that one point that maybe there's an event coming up and you're just trying to lose a little weight for that, you know what I mean? For your trip to the Bahamas or something. Like, don't worry about that. Continuously just live in that healthy way and never think there's an end day. As long as you don't think, I got a goal day, don't worry about a goal day. You know? Just go. And then one day, in 6 months from now, you go look and you're like, damn, man, I guess that shit was working. Shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, more power to anybody that's out there on that journey, man. You know, just keep praying. Keep on staying focused. If you lose track a little bit, it's all good, man. Yeah. You know, we just keep going. You know, we don't start over. You know, you don't start over. Don't just be like, well, I had a cupcake today, so I'm gonna have 15 now. You know, you go have your donut or your cupcake, man, and just keep it moving. You know what I mean? Just have a lot of water that day.
One thing wanna, I guess you'd say, be proud that you think that way is like how you talk about the alcoholism, because with that's how I lost my dad, was the cirrhosis and stuff. And like you said, no, it was even before he passed away and stuff. One day it just clicked, you know, I want to be able to. It was even before my daughter. Right. It's like, you know, I don't want to be like that, because I all around my town and stuff, you know, I see the drunks stuff walking around, you know, and like you were saying, you know, it's always, I grew up around a lot of Native people and stuff, and almost every single time you'd see a drunk walk around town, it's always native, you know.
Right,
And I
right.
told myself, you know, I don't want to be that one
That
day,
stereotype.
yeah, because you know they got the how would you like the addictive genes in you and stuff. Because my
Yeah.
dad was alcoholic and stuff. Like I said, he
Right,
passed
right.
away, you know, and he had just turned 47, I believe.
Right.
So you know he
You
was,
know, and a lot of those things, man, I'd like to touch on it just because it's like a lot of those things, man, is suppression of trauma that we went through.
yeah,
It's trying to numb it,
yeah,
and I will probably get scrutinized a little bit, but I'm gonna quote, John Trudell and you know and thank the drunk Indian, because without them we wouldn't even be here, because they decided to get through it like that, those hard times.
yeah,
You take a man's kids from him, put him in boarding school, then the wife can't live with you because all she sees is her kids in your face, so then she leaves you. you know then your community is just kind of desolate because there's no children. So those type of traumas were passed down to my dad,
yeah,
and alcohol was the easiest
Yeah.
way to suppress those bad memories.
yeah,
And even those things that my dad might not have went through exactly as a boarding school kid, but he still had his traumas from getting beat at home,
yeah,
because maybe he didn't know why. At the same time, grandma and grandpa knew why. They didn't want him to go to boarding school.
yeah,
So maybe I'm gonna beat you so they won't beat you. Cut his hair, make him speak English so they don't take him away. So you have all these different perspectives and journeys that all these people went on. So I don't blame them for dealing with it in the way they dealt with it.
yeah,
We are the generation that can see it and decide that's not how we want to deal with it, right?
yeah,
And I think that's the difference. I think we, like you, have witnessed walking around seeing these things, and it wakes us up into not wanting that for ourselves,
yeah,
not wanting that for our kids. And I'm still on that journey every day, man. I'm still fighting alcoholism every single day. It takes a lot for me not to want a drink, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or to not want to go get a drink or have a drink with people that are having fun,
yeah,
and those are the daily wars that I go through too, and battles with myself. And I want people to know this shit ain't easy. It will never fucking be easy. It will always be a constant work to do the work.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I always say prayers only work if you work the prayer. You can sit there and say, "Oh, God, please help me get a job." Well, if you ain't out looking for
one,
a job,
yeah.
it's not gonna happen for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely, we have to step up, and if we're having those prayers, we have to work those prayers, and we have to have that want to be better, and that's all it takes. Again, same with the food. It's like you can fall off, man. Just keep going though.
Keep going,
Don't
yeah.
give up and don't start over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, before we end this, I'll give you a little bit of time. Do shout outs shout out to whatever, whoever, and
Oh,
where
yeah,
people
man.
where people can find your music and everything else.
Yeah, man, I just want to shout out you, bro.
Oh, thank you,
You know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform.
No, I want
You know
to thank
what I mean?
you, for your time and everything.
Right, man. I just and everybody that's gonna be coming out to the show tonight. I don't know when you post this, but hopefully
Yeah.
everybody will come out to the show tonight. And I'm back home here on the Muskogee Nation Reservation, and it feels good. I got a lot of humbucks going on this last week, so I gotta take my own advice about eating all this bad food. Yeah. And it felt good to be with the people this last week and just be around family. I went and visited some family down south, and just being around out here, man. So it's a blessing. And then shout out to everybody out there listening, all the fans, all the people, all y'all youngsters, you know, the aunties and uncles, grandmas, grandpas. Mado, thank you. And y'all can find my music on on your favorite music platform on your phone. So whatever you're listening to, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you know, just type in that Sten Joddi name up there, and I'll be popped up somewhere. I'm sure you'll find a track that you like.
All right, everybody, y'all heard it. This is D-Rock signing off on Unknown Hip Hop Culture with Sten Joddi.
Yeah.
My native, my native, Joddi remix, my native. I say I ride for my motherfucking natives. So frankly, I'ma die for my motherfucking natives. My skin's out here every day, my native. Steady rapping, every clan, every tribe, my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. First thing first, I love all my natives. All around the world, I love all my natives. My daddy hand beat it by one of my natives. Flied in the feathers on the back of my natives. Some natives smoke, some natives drink. I don't really give a fuck what none of y'all think. Some natives for the streets, some natives for the bread. Fuck John Wayne and motherfuck the feds.